Welcome into the Dallas Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. Here's what's coming up on today's show. The latest on the Dalton Schultz holdout, which could extend into minicamp. The Jalen Tolbert injury latest. Some fun competition between Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. And more conversation on Tony Pollard's usage. No OTAs today for the Cowboys. They're off. They do resume tomorrow. If you want more Cowboys OTA coverage, including some final winners and losers, show it for me by liking the video right now if you want more OTA coverage. Let's get into the Dalton Schultz situation. He, of course, as you all know, because you're all subscribed, he is skipping the remainder of Cowboys OTAs. And NFL Network's Mike Garafolo says he is considering at least skipping mandatory minicamp as well. That would be significant from an impact perspective in terms of just the minicamp, it being mandatory, by the way, and from a monetary perspective, which we'll get into more in depth. Dak Prescott, along with several other Cowboys players at the Reliant Home Run Derby last night, had this to say on the Schultz situation when asked about it. Quote, "Me and Schultz talk all the time, so I knew what was happening. The team does. We'll handle it. Just being able to talk to Dalton, maybe ease his mind through some of this and just understand that I went through this process. A lot of people go through this process. He's a guy that I feel very comfortable with, have a lot of trust with. He knows that. The team knows that, so I'm confident in that situation." Dak does know, DeMarcus Lawrence knows, others know how tricky it can be to get what you consider to be your market value relative to your positions. And after what David Njoku got, $13.69 million per year, if Schultz wants his fair market value, that is the going rate for a tight end of Schultz's caliber. His 2021 campaign was better than any year David Njoku has put together. Now, if you don't want to pay Schultz that big-time money, that $13, $14 million per year range, I totally understand that. It is not easy to find 800-yard receivers, but he's not the same dynamic threat or as a Travis Kelce, the same dynamic blocker as George Kittle. So I understand if you don't want to pay him that. But I also get Schultz wanting to get what the market says he should. We're not done with this conversation. We'll spend some more time on it here. But do you think Dalton Schultz will report to mandatory minicamp? Make your predictions for me at the pinned comments of today's video. Y for yes, he will. N for no, he will not. If the ad break plays on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there. Y for yes, N for no. I myself would bet on Schultz showing up, and the big reason there is money. There's a lot of potential money lost if Schultz does not show up for the 3-day minicamp. The fines, unless you are excused by the team, are as follows. Over $15.5K if you miss day one. That number then swells to $31,000 on day two, and then $46,000 on day three. In total, there is a lot of potentially missed earnings, almost $100,000 if he doesn't show up to minicamp. And to be clear, I want players there for mandatory stuff. When it comes to OTAs, there are some exceptions. I think Schultz can fall in that category. Veterans, established players, if you're not there for OTAs, it's fine. If you have a lot of wear and tear on your body, it's fine. It's like if Zeke wasn't there, I wouldn't be bothered by it at all. He is, though. A lot of the guys are right now. The mandatory stuff, I want you there. It is part of your job to be there, even if the voluntary OTA stuff is not. Now, I do like getting more reps for young guys like Jake Ferguson and Sean McEwen. And although there is the possibility a Ferguson, a McEwen, or maybe a Jeremy Sprinkle could produce similar numbers to Schultz, we should also be realistic and say Schultz is a more proven, reliable piece than those guys as a pass catcher and certainly as a blocker. So, yeah, I do want him on this team this year, even if the franchise tag cost is going to be fairly expensive. Now, speaking of not showing up, great job there, Jeremy. We are not on Rumble. We are getting our butts kicked way behind the Raiders report and way behind Giants now, and that's embarrassing even though the Cowboys have better teams than those two, despite what the officials on Thanksgiving might tell you. Help us out. Free, uncensored videos, and on this Thursday's live show, tomorrow, for those of you watching when this video first goes out, Cowboys Report After Hours is back on Rumble. Rumble.com/Cowboys TV. It's free to follow. You can also play the videos podcast style, background audio only, which I know many of you like to do. So go follow us and support us, rumble.com/Cowboys TV. That link will be in the comments section and in the description. Injury update now on Jalen Tolbert. Once again, per Dak Prescott, Tolbert is back at practice. He had a hamstring strain at OTAs. A little bit limited in the last open OTAs. I think the next one is coming up this week, or is coming up this week, I should say. So we'll know for certain just how present Tolbert is. But with Gallup banged up and James Washington banged up, there's a chance for more reps with the ones for the rookie third-round pick. Dak had praise, by the way, for Tolbert. Quote, smart guy, smart receiver, has picked up the playbook and wants to grow, wants to get better. He's always trying to talk to me about film or what I saw or what he can learn on. He's trying to get advanced level coaching, and we're not even through step 3 of the offseason program yet. He's an exciting guy that has a bright future. I do like Tolbert. Tolbert was my highest graded player of the 3 the Cowboys picked. I thought he was a top 60-ish guy. Cowboys got him far later in the draft. I love that type of stuff. And because of the wide receiver situation, you're hoping for a quicker than normal impact from your third-round pick, because CeeDee Lamb is going to be this team's wide receiver 1. You could probably use Pollard and Schultz. We'll talk about Pollard more in depth, by the way, in a little bit, as a pass catcher. But I doubt Gallup is out there week 1. So that would then leave Jalen Tolbert and then a currently injured James Washington, who has not been an elite NFL player, and you don't really want as your wide receiver 2, if we're being honest. And then backups Noah Brown and unproven guys in Steven Fayoko, TJ Vasher, etc. You're banking on Tolbert being that guy. So let's play one of my favorite games. Over or under? I specifically picked the 607-yard mark as that figure because it is exactly 100 yards more than Michael Gallup had in his first season. I was going to do 507, but I kind of figured everyone was going to spam the over, so I bumped it up a little bit to inflate that figure. So over or under 607 yards in 2022 for Jalen Tolbert. Now, we are just over 900 subscribers away from the 130,000 mark here on the Cowboys Report. If you have not already, you should probably subscribe. A lot of other Cowboys YouTubers, are they doing daily videos in June, in July? No, not really, and that's fine. But we're built different here at the Cowboys Report. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Time for the fun portion of today's show. Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence going back and forth with some fun, by the way, as they have set an internal competition for sacks. Both of them are very competitive players, as we saw from Micah, who actually had the most home runs at the Reliant Home Run Derby, but didn't win because there were bonus balls worth more money. So Leighton Vander Esch actually won because he raised the most money. Micah didn't like that. He also spent $500 on his own back because he didn't like the ones that were available at the Home Run Derby. Anyway, here's what Tank said to start this whole thing off. He was asked, what are your goals, individually-wise, this year? Become the sack leader again. I let a rookie show me up last year. Shout out to my guy Micah, but I got to restate my dominance. Let everybody know that I'm coming, how I feel, and the type of respect I'm going to demand when I step on that field. Micah's response was exactly what I wanted. It makes me want to compete. It's healthy for the locker room. I want D-Law to step up. I want D-Law to be who he is. I'm not taking that away from him, but sorry to tell him, he's never getting that title back. I want him to get all the enjoyment that he possibly can, feed his head so he can be a 10-sack guy, great. But if 10's the number, I'm going for 20. It's just going to be a race to the quarterback. Like it or not, I'm excited. Last year, unquestionably, Micah Parsons was the best defensive player. Sorry, Trayvon Diggs. Now, the snap numbers absolutely do hurt Tank Lawrence, but being healthy is part of this. The best ability, after all, is availability. It's very funny, by the way, because on the snap counts, the pass rush reps, the numbers that Lawrence had prorated out are actually very good. That's what makes Micah's numbers so shocking and insane. That is unbelievable production out of Micah Parsons. So those two are going to go back and forth. Who do you think ends up with more sacks this upcoming season? Type in MP for Micah Parsons or DL for DeMarcus Lawrence. We are once again asking for more Tony Pollard. Both a lot of people in the comments, myself and also ESPN's Mina. She wants Dallas to utilize more of Tony Pollard because he is a big play threat and brings the explosiveness this team doesn't really have at the running back position. Zeke's a great grinder, great reliable player, great pass blocker, but the big plays haven't been there as of late. Pollard has had those big plays. Now, the hope is that maybe you even utilize both of them, especially with the aforementioned wide receiver issues this team has. Pollard brings you third down value. Look, he is not Deebo Samuel. We have to stop expecting that level of production. It's not who Pollard is. He's never going to be a 75-catch guy, I wouldn't assume, and he hasn't ever shown that either. But he should have more. He had over 1,000 yards of total offense last year. And I'm not out on Zeke. This is not, again, it's not anti-Zeke campaign or propaganda or whatever, but it is pro-Tony Pollard campaigning. When you rank the top 5 playmakers on this offense, probably putting Lamb number 1. Let's say Zeke is number 2. Who are you putting third? Is it Schultz? Is it Pollard? Is it Gallup when healthy? The answer is yes on Gallup, by the way, but he's not healthy for week 1, probably. Pollard is one of your top 5 playmakers. He should have the snap count to reflect that. So if you haven't already liked today's video, here's another chance for you to do so before we sign off today. If you want more Tony Pollard, like this video right now.